Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Ronda Rousey to sign with WWE Raw, an Undertaker WrestleMania return set up by John Cena, and enjoy the hit new record Get These Hands by Braun Strowman in record shops now. I'm Ollie Davis and this is the 12th of February 2018 episode of Monday Night Raw in about 4 minutes. John Cena opened Raw with a high five to Jonathan Coachman. Come on, Coachman! And a rather obsessive promo on how much he wants a match at WrestleMania. You're John Cena. You're one of the first things they put on the running order. The intrigue instead comes not from whether Cena will go to WrestleMania, but who he'll face once there. And a neatly placed line from Cena might provide a clue. WrestleMania can bring a legend back from the dead. Hit the Undertaker's massive dong! Dong. Such a big dong. This turned into Cena beating The Miz in a fun match that got a decent amount of time, meaning Miz will be the first entrant into the Elimination Chamber. After cutting a promo complete with Nerdometer graphics, Galanderson were jumped by the Revival ahead of their match. This played into the typical Revival template for the win: isolate their opponents and work over a body part. I'm a big fan of all those involved here. I'm just worried they'll get stuck facing only each other for the next 5 years. In between forgetting lines and mispronouncing words, Kurt Angle announced Ronda Rousey will be at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view to sign her Raw contract, hinting she's not feuding with SmackDown Charlotte at WrestleMania. Sadly, Kurt had some bad news too. Jason Jordan will miss WrestleMania 34 because of his neck injury, which the crowd cheered, showing what a great heel Jordan's been in recent months. This brought out Seth Rollins, who now wants to be in the Elimination Chamber match, seeing all his Mania storylines have been scrapped because of injury. Kurt decided in the way he books all his matches these days. Asked the crowd to cheer. Shall Alexa Bliss defend her title? Yay! Should Seth Rollins fight in the chamber? Yay! Do I have tuna mayo or ham and cheese sandwiches for lunch? Tuna mayo! I like tuna mayo. Furthering the tension between the best friends forever, Sasha Banks took on Bayley in the latter's hometown of San Jose. That means she's losing, doesn't it? Check your cynicism at gorilla position, Ollie, because Bayley beat Banks in a very decent match. The post-match angle saw Banks and Bayley either about to hug or fight some more, when Nia Jax took them both out. This is a great way to further both feuds, and just another layer in a brilliantly built women's division on Raw right now. Speaking of, in yet another women's storyline, it's almost like they're equal. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville beat Mickie James and Alexa Bliss, with the champion trying to make alliances ahead of the chamber. Speaking of alliances, segue! Elias was out next to debut his new song, The Chamber Blues, where he trashed all his opponents and the city of San Jose. What came next sounds horrible on paper. One of the worst things you could plan to get your next big monster star over, but it worked incredibly well. Braun Strowman appeared at the top of the ramp with a song of his own and an enormous cello, or the biggest guitar I've ever seen, according to Coachman. Great musical observation, Coachman! This turned into a wickedly funny and badass segment, with Braun showing a different side to his character without cheapening his monster traits. Roman Reigns beat Sheamus in a decent heavyweight match with some very neat counters next. I'm just thankful this isn't Seth Rollins facing The Bar anymore. The main event rather annoyingly started in an ad break, which I feel is like missing the start of a movie, but the 5 men involved are so good it didn't matter for long. Each participant was presented very effectively, playing to their strengths. Rollins and Balor got fiery comebacks, Bray and Matt were given character work, and Apollo Crews got to do impressive flippy spots. The finish had a neat poetic symmetry. After Bray Wyatt broke up a multi-man suplex earlier in the match, he was finally hit by one at the end, where both Balor and Rollins got the pin. That's right, Bray Wyatt lost twice in one match, which is about as Bray Wyatt as it gets for Bray Wyatt these days. Raw finished with both Rollins and Balor celebrating, the announcers confused over what this means for the chamber. I like a cliffhanger. So that was this week's Raw in about 4 minutes. Vote in the poll above my head to give your rating, where you can choose from in or core, average, poor, and bore. The women's division has more than one story. The match quality was very good, and Braun Strowman is even more awesome than before. This week's Raw is core. Should Dolph Ziggler leave WWE? Click the screen now for more great wrestling videos.